Good morning, Angela Yee.
Good morning, TJMB.
Charlemagne the God.
Peace to the planet. It's Thursday.
Yes, it's Thursday.
I was trying to keep my consistency going by being late this morning, since I've been late every day this week. But unfortunately, I broke the cycle.
Yeah, you're on time today.
Sadly.
Now, shout out to my baby girl Madison. She's my oldest. She's 16. She went on her first, I don't want to say a trip, but I guess a trip by herself. She went to LA by herself to see her godparents. And I was shook the whole flight, every 15 minutes watching the flight on Google to make sure everything was all right. But she made it back safe last night at 9 o'clock. So I'm happy my baby girl is back.
Oh, that's great. If you think your anxiety was bad for that, wait till she goes on her first date.
She's already been on her first date.
I went with her though.
Yeah, wait till she goes on her first date by herself.
She probably has.
No, she hasn't.
With another 16-year-old that can drive.
No, well, we're having that problem in our home now. There's a young man that would like to, I guess, take her out, but I don't feel comfortable, per se, with anybody else driving her right now, so she cannot go.
I don't blame you.
Unless we all go.
They can Uber or Lyft.
I don't know.
Just tell her to wait until she's 21 when it's safe.
That's what I told her.
That's all.
I told her
It's
24.
safer to go out on a date when you're 21. 24 is good too.
I said 24.
I'm not mad at
When
that.
did you and Gia start dating?
It was a different time.
Different era.
I'm just asking a question. How old?
Different era.
15 and 16.
Oh, okay.
Way different era, buddy.
Way different.
Now, when can Logan, your oldest son, start dating?
We haven't had that discussion yet.
I'm thinking 18 for him too. 18 is good. You know what I mean?
Well, right now we're into football
Well,
and
you just
basketball.
got to make sure you're across the board fair.
I don't know about
No, we
that.
don't.
I don't know about
No, we
that.
don't.
I don't know about that.
No, we don't.
Sounds good.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds
Listen,
good.
see, that's the whole thing. You know, everybody, like, no, I don't. That's my daughter. No, I don't.
Sounds good,
I
but
don't
you
have to be
know.
fair across the board with that. Nope. I know. Hey, listen. I know what's on these guys' minds out here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm protecting my daughter for as long as I can.
We'll all go on a date. We all go. All right. Well, we have New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio joining us, and his wife Charlene.
Now, it's
First Lady Shalane McCray.
it's very important to say that they came.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday after the
Because
show,
there
we
was a
interviewed.
shooting in Brooklyn yesterday. There was a shooting in Brooklyn yesterday where a man was killed holding a pipe. Cops mistook for a gun.
Right.
So if you don't hear us talking to Bill de Blasio about that, it's because he came yesterday.
Right before that happened.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll talk to him. And what else are we talking about in front page news, G?
I mean, that's really the big story today. If we get to it, we'll be talking about Facebook and them sharing data, but we are going to be talking about this man who was shot and killed in Brooklyn by the NYPD.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get into it. Front page news is next. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Wake your ass up. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlemagne the God. We are the Breakfast
Hey,
Club.
what's happening? Good morning.
Let's get in some front page news. Now let's talk about what happened in Brooklyn yesterday.
Tragic situation in Crown Heights in Brooklyn around 4:40 p.m. Sahid Vasso, who's 34 years old and suffered from bipolar disorder, was shot and killed by the police. Now, according to the police, they received 911 calls Wednesday evening of a man aiming what callers described as a silver firearm at people in Brooklyn. 3 different 911 callers described a man with a gun pointing it at people on the streets. When officers did arrive at the scene, they found a man matching that description. And the suspect then, according to the police officers, took a two-handed shooting stance and pointed an object at the approaching officers. So that's when 4 officers discharged their weapons, striking the man. They gave him first aid and called for an ambulance, where he was pronounced dead at the hospital.
Now, this is a tough one. The reason I say this is a tough one because if you get 4 or 5 911 calls, people say that somebody's holding a gun, and then you pull up and you see somebody holding a silver object like that.
In a shooting stance.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But this is also where they say that, you know, having a cop from that community would have known that he maybe been a little
Bipolar.
off or
Yeah,
bipolar,
yeah,
you know, because even growing up, there was a kid, and I hate to say the story, we called him the E kid because he had Down syndrome, but everybody knew who he was, and he was bipolar, and he would run up and down the block. Sometimes he had no clothes on, but everybody knew him, and if we seen it, we would call his
That's a very good
mom
point.
or you know, call the police, it wouldn't be a problem or situation.
That's a very good point.
Right,
If you look at
but-
that picture does look like a gun.
It
But the
does.
police officers, though, when they did get those 911 calls saying that someone was, they said that they had been told that they were responding to the call of a disturbed person, things would have been handled differently, potentially. But because the
Right.
call said that it was someone who was holding a firearm and pointing it at people, that's why it was handled the way that it was, unfortunately.
So people in the community didn't know the brother? They didn't know
They
that?
knew, they said he was a little weird.
That's what I'm saying. So why they didn't call and say, look, you know, I don't even call his family or something if they knew that he was off.
Well, this is a very busy street too. It's on Utica Avenue and Empire Boulevard. I'm from Brooklyn, and that's a pretty busy corner. So people calling might not have been people that live
People
there.
that
They
live
could have been
there.
going to catch the train. They could have been going to the bus stop. So the people calling might not have been the people that know him. It could have just been anybody on the street.
Waiting for a bus or a train or whatever it may be.
But I guess it's still, you know, the police. There's no other way for them to handle these situations. Like what happened to de-escalation?
I mean, not if they thought it was a gun. If they thought it was a gun and he was in the shooting stance, they would've
Yeah,
handled
his dad said
themselves.
cops could have handled the situation differently. He said there must be a way to save this person than to kill them. Aren't the police trained how to defend themselves and prevent killing a mental person? And, you know, one woman was crying, they don't want to bridge the gap between us. They want to kill us. And people were saying they didn't try to help him after he was shot and killed. They said that was not CPR that they gave him.
Well, prayers go out to the family of
Absolutely.
Saheed Bassell. And I really don't know how police handle these situations anymore. I don't know how we handle these situations anymore. Like it's got to come a point in time where they got to have more compassion. But this is a tough one, man, because that object did look like a gun. And if he was in a shooting stance, I mean, Jesus Christ, especially after getting 4 or 5 calls saying that a person had a gun. I don't know.
Yeah, but it goes back to the, you know, they said he was a little off, a little weird.
He was bipolar.
He was bipolar, but if there was a police officer in the community, maybe he would have known, and maybe it would have been like, that's Saeed, he's bipolar, let's deal with this different. Let's make sure it's really a weapon, you know? Maybe not.
I just hate how these mistakes are always fatal. Like there's no coming back from these mistakes. Like it's just certain jobs you should not be allowed to make mistakes on. And if we didn't see so many of these happen across the country, then we probably could
feel a little
understand
different.
this mistake a little bit more, but it just don't seem like a mistake because we see it all the time.
Right. All right, well, that's front page news. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you're upset, you need to vent, hit us up right now. Maybe you had a bad night or a bad situation, or maybe you want to spread some positivity. Whatever it may be, phone lines are wide open. 800-585-1051 is the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Angel, good morning.
Yes, me and my daughter listen to you guys every morning. We deliver newspapers.
Okay.
Hey, I want to thank you and your daughter for having no taste. We really appreciate you.
Stop it. Where you calling from?
From Bethany Beach right now.
What's on the cover of the paper today?
Delaware?
Yes, Delaware.
What's on the cover of the paper today?
Wall Street, a guy with basketball in the news journal, and a whale-looking thing.
Well, how old is your daughter? Why is she out? Why is she working with you so early?
My daughter is 1.5, and that goes back to the whole child thing. I'm trusting somebody with her.
Oh, got you.
So you bring her out with
So you
you.
bring her out with you.
And can't quite afford a city yet.
Nope.
I know.
Me and my husband both work. We got 4 kids.
Yo, your arm must be amazing. I tried to throw a paper one time across the street. I couldn't do it. You could throw the papers from the car and hit the front stoop.
Yeah, you gotta have a good arm to especially be able to throw across the car.
Okay.
A nice flick of the wrist.
There you go. Well, thank you for listening, Mama.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, everybody has bad days, but you gotta think somebody else has it worse than you, so always be positive.
There you go. Thank you, Mama.
Have a good day.
You too. Hello, who's this?
Yeah, hi, this is Sheila.
Hey, Sheena, get it off your chest.
Yeah, I was calling about my friend Saeed after I heard your comments about him on the radio and stuff. But at the end of the day, Saeed was the type of person, he won't harm a fly. This happened in his neighborhood where he grew up from a child. So the store clerks know him, the passerbyers know him, the police in that area even knows him. So when they got the call and they seen the face, they should have known exactly who they were dealing with and what they were dealing with.
Right.
And a shower head to a gun, most people see, you can't tell the difference.
Now, I will say on that picture I saw, it did look like a gun from the angle that I saw
They
it.
put on the paper, it's foggy, it's fuzzy. It doesn't do no justice for him. The picture they put on the cover of the paper.
But people did call and say, a few people did call 911 and say he was holding a gun. There was a man with a gun.
Yeah, a few people that I don't know why they said that, because when they show pictures, like there's pictures on Facebook, there's Facebook Live photos where the police is pounding on him, which they claim they did CPR.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I agree that there should have been officers from the neighborhood that should have known him and known that he was bipolar or whatever, you know. But I'm sorry for your
It's a
loss,
tragic
Mama.
situation.
Yeah, and I'm not making no excuses for the police either, because we see this happen all across the country. So, you know, it's hard to look at this and say, oh, they made a mistake, when we see it happen all the time.
Yes, it just happened in Sacramento. What kills me is because I see it all the time. I'm raising 3 boys, and to know what happened to one of my childhood friends, it's so sad.
Yeah, and I wonder, is there like any type
Sorry again, Mama.
of due process or protocol from the time you get to the 911 call to the time you show up? Like, do you just show up as a cop with guns drawn? Like, let's go?
If they say that there's somebody out there with a gun running around, they have to show up with their guns drawn. I mean, that's what it is. They got 3 calls, so it's not like they said, okay, we got a call. Maybe, no, they got 3 calls with a man running around with a gun. They got to come with guns drawn.
I mean, listen, this is a tough one. I'm not even saying, like, I'm looking at the pictures that they showed on Revolt just now. I can see where they may have mistook that for a gun.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you're upset, you need to vent. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. There's Charlie Boy calling in from Brooklyn. How's it going?
Charlie boy, what's popping? Get it off your chest.
Yeah, man. Basically, you know, I think it could have worked both ways with that guy. May he rest in peace, you know. It came in as a 911 call, right? And he said that it was a man with an object, and he could possibly be, you know, disturbed, right? So why the dispatch, she should have put it out as an emotionally disturbed person, which is an EDP. And then basically, I understand the code of the street, you got to arrive alive. You know, a man with a gun, you need to get to the scene and you got to arrive alive. So I totally understand it. I'm with that. I think like you guys said up there as well, you know, they know, okay, well, you know what, that could be this guy, you know what I mean? The police know in his neighborhood, the guy that's running that sector could be like, you know what? Well, basically, that's probably this dude. That's probably Steve or whatever. You know, let's try to, you know, let's ride alive, but let's take a different, you know, measure to the situation. You know, and you know, it's unfortunately that, you know, it's somebody's life. You know, I mean, they got to do what they got to do. But at the end of the day, man, we're not, you know, the police are not, you know, responding to kill, man. It's you know, we got to protect and serve.
Yeah, I wonder. Do they get warnings? Like, do they just jump out and start firing, or do they be like, freeze, put the gun down? They don't give a warning.
They didn't have their body cameras on, so we don't know exactly what happened.
I think back in the day, see, I grew up in Coney Island, so, you know, we surrounded by, you know, you got housing precinct, 6-0 precinct. So basically, at the end of the day, I mean, if they came, they used to come with their guns drawn. And straight up, I was on the floor with my hands out already. I didn't give them much out, but hey, I ain't got nothing. I never did anything. I just dropped to the floor. Now, mind you, I'm Polish and Italian, so I was like the second family that grew up in Coney Island, the only white family that grew up in Coney Island. So right away, I want to comply to the fullest. You know what I mean? I don't want to fail with comply because I didn't want to be a statistic, as you know, as a young man growing up.
Right.
You know, even though I grew up in a tough neighborhood, you know, and at the end of the day, man, you know, it's somebody's life. Somebody's got to bury their child, man.
So sad, man. Thank you.
They said NYPD is refusing to say if the responding officers warned Shahid before they started firing.
And they don't have the body camera footage, so we don't know exactly what happened when they jumped out.
Hello, who's this?
Stephen Taylor.
Hey, Steven, get it off your chest.
I want to tackle my birthday.
Okay, why you blessed, brother?
Today is my birthday, and I'm on my way to the Bahamas right now.
All right, happy
that's
birthday.
dope. I just went to the Bahamas.
iPhone Sim, today's iPhone Sim birthday, man. Happy birthday to y'all, bro.
Thank you, man.
Enjoy that.
Hey, you got a girl with you?
He hung up already.
I hope you got a girl and no condoms.
Hello, who's this?
Oh, this is Sequoia and a girl with no condom, but.
Oh, no, I'm talking to our last caller. He's going to the Bahamas, boo. I was just, you know, telling him what he should bring and not bring, that's all.
What's up, Sequoia? Get it off your chest.
Good morning. 2 things. I want to say DJ Envy asked for the unit a while back. You never gave it to me, but that's gonna pass. Whatever. People's choice. They ain't give a choice. But
What's she asking?
with the Brooklyn shooting, I'm in the I was in the Marine Corps. I just got out for the vet. When somebody fires at us and says Charlamagne's my friend and he gets shot, but somebody puts their weapon up,
we're no longer allowed to kill that person. Why should the police be able to kill that person if they're no longer a threat? Now, the shooter in Brooklyn, he was holding a weapon. I'm pretty sure there's other ways to disarm him. Like, why do they never shoot people in the leg?
Baby, why you had to start the story off with me getting shot? I mean, you could have explained the situation without Charlamagne getting shot.
When they used
I'm
it
just saying, you know, you would be my friend, and you get killed, and they don't get weapons. They're no longer a threat. You can't kill that person.
I'll be sad if Charlamagne got shot.
To fire those rounds.
Now I feel what you're saying.
You know what I mean? They want to account for every round that we shoot. If we're in a threatening situation, they want to know, hey, why did you shoot this person? It's going to be a whole investigation. Why is there so much work until the military actually shooting people when we're going to places where our lives are in danger?
Yeah, I can't tell cops how to do their job, but if they jumped out of this car and they didn't give a warning before they fired 10 rounds, I think something's a little bit wrong there. I think you should, you know, I mean, like I said, just, hey, put your gun down, fire a shot, see what happens, but I guess they got to worry about their lives too, man. This is a tough situation if you're actually being objective.
I mean, if he was pointing a gun, they're not going to say put your gun down because the gun is pointing at them, you know, because the gun's going to go off. And the sad thing about it, if there's 4 cops, if one cop shoots, they don't know if the bullet is coming from the cop, if it's coming from him, where the bullet's coming from. So everybody just starts shooting.
But we have seen plenty of situations where people have had guns and weapons in their hand and cops be like, they do say put the gun down at first. If you don't put that gun down, then they unload on your ass. I mean, we've seen that a lot of numerous times.
Well, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. You got rumors on the way?
Yes, Bow Wow has a new TV show in the works. It looks like he has a good sense of humor about something. And Tyrese, he has a big announcement. So congratulations to Tyrese.
And let him know New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio will be here next hour too.
Yep, the mayor and his wife will be joining us next hour, New York City Mayor.
So we talked to them yesterday. We just playing it back today.
All right, it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Tonight, midnight.
Yeah,
yes. Man. Drop one of Clues bombs for Cardi B. Let me kiss my ass, okay? I like seeing Cardi come up the way that she's come up over the past 4 to 5 years, okay?
And we'll be debuting songs tonight too as well, locally on Power 105, but if you have the app, you can listen to it through there.
Yeah, and tomorrow morning as well in the mix, we'll be playing all Cardi B. But let's get to the rumors we talking about. Cardi B.
Well, Cardi B did put out the track listing for her new album, Invasion of Privacy. Now, from what we can see from what she posted, there's a song which we've heard, Drip, featuring Amigos, and also we've heard this one too, Bartier Cardi, featuring 21 Savage. But she did say in the caption, track list, I have some surprises. I know you have some questions. Don't ask me and just find out on Friday. Thank you.
I posted Cardi's track list yesterday, and somebody had the nerve to jump in my comments and say, look at you riding waves. Per usual. That's very insulting. Especially when I used to be up here 4 years ago saying Cardi's a star and Cardi B for president, and y'all would tell me that I was trolling. Okay? When we were playing Cheap Ass Weave up here on the radio. Remember that? Oh, that was still a hit. Drop on Clues Bomb for Cheap Ass Weave. People said we was trolling. Now she's a real live star and we riding her wave. Knock it off.
All right, now congratulations to Tyrese and his wife. They are expecting a daughter. Now Tyrese posted, it's not a rumor, so proud to share the news. We're pregnant. Take my hand and never let go. I will love you and stand with you through thick and thin. From my heart, our love will inspire others to lovers to love deeper. Take my hand and wherever you lead me, I will follow you around the world. So
congratulations. Congratulations to Tyrese and his wife. Pray for Tyrese's wife and future daughter.
All right. Now Russell Simmons is saying that his rape accuser is lying. He says a woman accusing him of sexual assault sent him loving texts and even nudes after the alleged rape, and that her lawsuit is nothing more than a cash grab. In these documents, he says that he and Jennifer Jarosik had a casual relationship for over a decade and occasionally had sex, but it was always consensual. He also says that she would frequently send him loving messages and unsolicited nude photos, including after the alleged 2016 rape and long after another 2011 sexual assault he claims that she has publicly accused him of.
Well, if Russell's claiming to be innocent, then you got to provide proof for that, right? So you got to fight back. So he's fighting back.
Yeah, he's fighting back. It's the first time we heard Russ. They must have pissed Russ off. Russ must have said enough's enough now.
No, he also says that she has been found by a court to have a propensity to exaggerate and to suffer from untreated mental health issues. So he says that her claims are complete fiction. So that's his side. And she is suing him for millions, and she has accused him of being aggressive with her, assaulting her, and proceeding to rape her when she refused to have sex with him at his home in 2016.
But by the way, I like when these things go to court, because when they go to court, then, you know, everybody gets their due process, and proper evidence is presented. It's not just he say, she say. It's not just, he did it and then him saying, no, I didn't.
Now, once again, Bow Wow has confirmed that he does have this Bow Wow Challenge TV show. He posted, the crazy thing is the Bow Wow Challenge TV show is real. I start shooting next month. I turned a F up into $1 million. So
how do we know that's not a Bow Wow challenge? We can't trust Bow Wow.
Well, I guess we'll see soon enough.
We can't trust him. I know what he told DJ Drama, but we don't know if that's even real. He might be Bow Wow challenging us when he said that.
All right, now Gary Owen versus Michael Blackson is
Still?
not slowing down. And now remember, it all started when Gary Owen was on the Breakfast Club and Michael Blackson responded to him after that.
You funny to Michael Blackson?
Man, he's one strict pony. Mother sucker. After that, what you got? Tell me your favorite Michael Blackson joke. Rest my case.
Gary Owen, you crack a honky bitch. You wanna be black so bad, don't you? Well, you nigga. Now say it back. I didn't think so, you wet dog smelling bitch. You.
All right, well, Gary Owen did respond. He posted, the white guy's changing color joke is a stock joke. Try again. Well, you dared me to say the N-word, so here you go, homie. I take no L's. Here we go.
Michael Blackson, I heard you said I won't say the N-word back to you. You dared me. I ain't gotta say it back. My lady will say it for me. I got a down-ass chick. Michael Blackson, you punk ass.
Nick.
Ho. Michael Blackson, you ass.
Nick.
God, I wish I could say it.
First of all, dropping a clue bomb for that Gary Owens interview. I did not know that Gary Owens interview was going to turn into a Thanksgiving
There's no
turkey.
S at the end, he always says.
Well, Gary Owen. I call interviews like that a Thanksgiving turkey because they last 7 days.
Well, Michael Blackson responded back and he said, this is so cute, aka Malibu Most Wanted, but I wish you didn't get Mrs. Owens involved or that little fake ass Chihuahua puppy chow-ish. Here you go.
I don't touch wives, but she helped you call me a n***. So I'm gonna tell you exactly why she's with you. She's with you for your 800 FICO score. In about 2 weeks, her brothers are gonna rob you. And when your comedy money runs out, she's gonna leave you and your baby pink for a big utumbo and get a bladder infection. You colonizer, you hunky cracker bitch.
By the way, hypocrites, all you hypocrites out there, you can't love Lil Dicky and Chris Brown's Freaky Friday song, but then be mad at Gary Owens. Gary Owens did the same thing Lil Dicky did. He called you an N-word through an N-word. Okay? Okay.
All right, well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your rumor report.
All right, thank you, Miss Yee. Front page news is next. What we talking about, Yee?
Oh, we are going to talk about an awful, tragic situation that happened in Brooklyn yesterday. We'll give you the rundown on how a man ended up getting killed and he was unarmed.
All right, we'll get into that when we come back. And also, the mayor of New York City and his wife will be joining us next hour, so don't move.
No, very important to say that we interviewed them yesterday because we talked to them before the Brooklyn shooting.
Right.
Mayor Bill de Blasio and the First Lady, Charlene McCray.
Yeah, as well next hour, so don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. DJ NV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get into some front page news. Let's talk about this sad shooting that happened in Brooklyn last night.
Yes, this was in Crown Heights in Brooklyn. It was on Utica Avenue and Empire Boulevard. This happened in the afternoon around 4:40 p.m. A man who was on the streets in Brooklyn with what appeared to be a firearm was fatally shot by the cops. They later determined that weapon was not a gun, it was a metal pipe. Sahid Vassal, his family said he suffered from bipolar disorder, and 3 witnesses called 911 to report that a man wearing a brown jacket was pointing what they described as a silver firearm at people on the street. That's when 4 cops, 3 of them were in plain clothes and 1 was in uniform, fired a total of 10 shots, and they struck him several times and killed him. Now, according to the NYPD Chief of Department, Terrence Monahan, he said that the officers were responding not to a call of a disturbed person that might have been handled differently. This was a call of a man that 911 callers felt was pointing a gun at people on the street. When we encounter him, he turns with what appears to be a gun at the officers. Now, the man's father, Eric Vassal, said his son suffered from bipolar disorder and that he drank sometimes, but he was definitely not a bad person. People in the neighborhood knew him, and people are very distraught and upset about the police-involved shooting and the fact that he was not holding a weapon at all.
Well, first of all, rest in peace to the family of Sahid. Prayers definitely go up for them, but
condolences to the family.
Condolences to them, but this is a tricky one, man, because when I look at the pics, I can see how that object was mistaken for a gun, but you see so many of these situations throughout the country that you can't just chalk this up as a mistake, not to mention, did NYPD warn him before they started firing? And when they make these, like, there's certain jobs you just can't make a mistake. You can't make a mistake as a surgeon, and you can't make a mistake as a police officer, but they make a lot of mistakes all the time.
And this is what we always say, that's why we need more cops from the community, because maybe if there was somebody from the community, they would have known him, they would have known he was bipolar, they would have known he might have been a little off and been able to, diffuse the situation.
But even the people that call, don't people in the community know him? Like, wouldn't they say, "Oh, that's Saeed"?
Like he said earlier, Utica is a busy block. It could have been somebody just catching a bus and seen him and be like 911. You know, they didn't have to know who he was.
It could have been somebody driving by.
Driving by, yeah,
just
anything.
reported as they were driving past, like, oh, we just saw somebody running down the block. We don't know who called 911.
I just don't know why NYPD didn't. Or did they? Did they yell, "Drop your gun"?
We don't know yet. They haven't disclosed that information.
Down?
We do know they didn't have body cameras on when
Right.
they came and showed up at the scene, and 3 of them were plainclothes.
It is just kind of crazy where it goes from a 911 call, the police showing up, the 10 rounds fired. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of crazy.
And according to the police officers, what they are saying, and I mean, there's some surveillance footage from cameras that are, I guess, in the area, but not from body cameras. But what they are saying is that he turned and brandished what they thought was a gun and pointed it at them.
They said in shooting stance. I mean, this is a tough one because it did look like a gun, and I'm sure the cop said, you know, I want to make it home, but I don't know. I mean, I just wish that there would have been more people from the community and might have said, you know what, this guy is off a little bit. He's not known for this. Let's see what it is first. But
it pisses you off because we've seen videos of white men with objects in their hand, or white men with weapons, and that situation always finds a way to be de-escalated. Mm-hmm. You know, before shots are fired, if shots are fired at all. Okay.
All right, well, we will keep you updated because this happened yesterday, so they are still briefing and investigating, yes.
All right, well, that's front page news. Now, when we come back, we have the mayor of New York City and his wife, Bill de Blasio, and his wife, Shirlane, here. So we'll kick it with that.
That's very important to say we talked to them yesterday.
We did speak with them yesterday after the show.
Before the shooting in Brooklyn.
So we'll get that on next, and keep it locked. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We have some special guests in the building. We have the mayor of New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio, and his lovely wife, the First Lady, Charlamagne. Hey! Did I say it right?
Charlamagne McRae. And I just want to tell you, I went over it with him several times this morning. I was like, it's Charlamagne, so make sure you say it right.
Envy, what is so hard, Envy, about Charlamagne? Come on, say it with me. Say it with me. Charlamagne.
Well, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. How are y'all?
Thank you.
The mayor got him a sister, man. Round of applause to the mayor for that, man. At what age did you know you was going black and never going back, Mr. Mayor?
I cannot tell a lie to you. I had never dated a black woman before I met Charlamagne McRae.
Wow.
And that was 1991, so I was 30 years old. And I did not know what to do. They do not give you a handbook. No. I consulted, I was working for David Dinkins at the time, so many of my colleagues were black, so I said, what do you do? Help me understand, am I supposed to do this, am I supposed to do that?
You mean as far as kicking game to it, like?
Or just like... Courting. Yes. And they just said, be yourself. It's no different, just be yourself. But no, I was captivated by her, the person. And I will say, once I met Charlamagne, I never went back to any other woman.
Wow.
So you guys were both out of your comfort zone, because Charlamagne, had you ever dated a white man before?
No.
Charlamagne. And what did your family think, Charlamagne?
My family was cool. My family was very cool. It was.
He said,
No, her family was good.
My family was cool. His family had to struggle a little bit more with it. It was a very different experience, but he was so charming. That was what got me, is that he was so easy to talk to. He's not just your regular white guy. He was like Bill de Blasio, traveled, literate.
Does he have soul?
He had soul. Yeah, he really captured me. He really did.
For him, it was love at first sight. For you, what was it?
It took a little while.
A little while. But no, after the first time we had lunch together, we saw each other every week. So it may not have been love at first sight, but it certainly was. It was capture at first date.
And you knew he was in politics right away, or did you think he was a basketball player? I mean, he's 6'7", you know.
You were working for Dave
No,
Dinkins.
I asked him.
Oh, you asked him immediately?
We were both working for Dave Dinkins.
Okay.
I knew that wasn't happening.
But her family was amazing, because it was a shock to them. And we went up for
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa.
Oh, that's black.
I went up for
You
Kwanzaa.
read that's black.
And I had never done
You got thrown
Kwanzaa.
right into the deep end of the black.
Very much. I had to learn to say Kuji Chakalea, which took some work. But they were very welcoming and giving me every chance. My family, most of my family was very good. My mom took a long time to adjust. She took that because I remember very vividly. It was one of these great moments. I called her and I said, hey, you know, I'm going out with this new woman. I'd love to bring her over sometime. And she says, what's her name? And I said, her name's Shirlane. And there was a long pause. My mother said, exactly what kind of name is that? Yeah, right. And my mother was a very good liberal person, but she had to grapple. And she went through her struggles with it. And then finally, everyone says this, everyone would tell us about this if you're in a multiracial couple, that when your first child comes along, everyone melts, everyone opens up. And lo and behold, our daughter Kiara came along. And then suddenly my mother thought Shirlane was like the greatest person in history. Because she was the one who brought her granddaughter.
That's interesting because she was liberal. Like, what was she against though? Like,
I don't think she intellectually was against. I think she bought into all of the stereotypes of like it wouldn't work, it would be a strain, it would, you know, be a strain for the kids wouldn't know what their identity was and they would be, you know, attacked. And I think some of it was honest fear. I think some of it was contradiction. I can say, I will say on behalf of white America, there's a certain amount of contradiction running through white America we have to deal with. And I think, yeah, I thought you did. And so I think she had to grapple with the difference between her intellectual beliefs, what I think were honest, and then, well, wait a minute, now it's in my own home. But she got there. It was a weird journey, but she got there in the end. But what was so fascinating is, you know, when suddenly it's your own blood, and there's a child in front of her, that
just opened it up.
It opened everything up, and then Shirlane became like her best friend, like literally.
This is love is such an interesting dynamic because I can tell that it's pure love between y'all. Because you didn't have a preference for white men, you didn't have a preference for black women. And I saw y'all out there just laughing and joking, so y'all just connected because of an energy, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very deep, very deep. And I remember where it was. There's a cafe in the East Village called Cafe Mogador. And we were over there as one of our first dates, and we were in the middle of talking. We were talking about some book or something, and Shirlane like read all sorts of books and had really deep insights. And we were in the middle of talking about this book, and I had this wave come over me, like an out of body experience kind of thing. And I said, "Oh my God, she's the one!" Like I had been searching my whole life. I didn't know there was one, and I could just feel it. I was like, how on earth did this happen? She's the one. And she was.
That was black girl magic, Bill. That's what it's called. Black girl magic.
That's what was happening.
Now, when you see the injustices that happen to black people in this country, I'm sure it affects you a different way because of your family. So what can law enforcement be doing better to like ensure the safety of black civilians?
It's got to start with changing all of the assumptions about common humanity. You know, there is not an assumption of common humanity. And we got to get there. And one of the things we're trying to do in New York, we're doing implicit bias training because we're all biased, every single human being, because of culture, family, whatever.
Very true.
We got to bring that out, so that's part of it. We're training de-escalation. I mean, this is a really important concept.
Right.
If you get into a situation, how do you bring it down immediately and try and use the least force? These things are making a huge difference, but it's also with the core philosophy we have is neighborhood policing, and it's very much about humanity. Officers are now trained. You have to learn the names of the people in the neighborhood you serve. You have to stop into the stores. You have to meet the clergy. You have to meet the grandma on the block who knows what's going on and say good morning. And by the way, it's a two-way street. You know, then that also encourages community members to say good morning to the police officer or thank you when they do something to help them. We're encouraging officers now, give out your cell phone number, your work cell phone, your email, so that people feel the officer directly works for them. That's actually the goal, is that, you know, the officer, I always use the analogy of the villages we all come from. Every single one of us comes from a village. Not so long ago in our ancestral history. In the village there were guardians. The guardians were of and by and for the village. And there was no sense of separation or bias or disconnect. Part of how you get back to that is people actually finding each other's common humanity. And I always say, I want our officers, if they see a young man walking up to them, I want to feel like I want them to feel like that's their own son, their own nephew.
Right.
Feel that connection. I think that is teachable in the sense of a strategy that encourages constant dialogue and mutual respect. We haven't had that, let's face that. It has not been the norm in American policing. As we started to apply it, we see a lot less use of force, and we see many fewer tragedies, thank God. But at the same time, we're getting safer. A lot of people used to say, oh, if you do that kind of thing, oh, that's like social work, oh, that's so soft. No, it actually also helps you stop crime because now, like, the community is in it with the police and vice versa.
How do we break down the blue, quote unquote, blue wall of silence, where we feel like the cops are out for the community and not just to hold each other down like it's a fraternity or sorority?
I'm sure, Len, you should say what you think, but I'll tell you, from my point of view, I think it is part of ending that artificial disconnect. It's like the shirt you're wearing. It's like it used to be, well, it's community against the police, and, you know, we go into battle. I mean, think about that for a moment. It used to be almost a combat mentality of going into neighborhoods, not being of them and protecting them together, but having to deal with a problem, if you will. And that never worked. It was corrosive in so many ways. I think if you say, okay, there's no need for a wall if you're actually establishing that common link. And it's just very, very different when there's a dialogue. I mean, I've seen this over and over again. I go up to the officers who are part of this neighborhood policing. I ask them what they experience. One of the first things they say to me is, people come up to them all the time and offer them the information they need and say, you know, here's a problem. Here's a beef between two gangs that's getting out of hand. Here's, you know, we know someone stole something, whatever it might be. And that is encouraging, you know, a sense of everyone's trying to achieve the same thing. Everyone wants to stop violence. I mean, it's not an interesting example of the cure violence movement in this city, which we believe in fundamentally in this administration. We really deeply support the cure violence movement. It has a very different role to play than police. You know, gang interrupters, violence interrupters, a lot of different names that is used for. Very different role than police. But one of the things we encourage is police to respect that movement, and that's been a real breakthrough, because that's a movement of the community trying to stop violence from the grassroots. We now see our police understanding that's an allied movement, even if it's a different role to play. It's an allied movement. That has changed a lot of the tonality too, because when community members see these good young people trying to struggle against violence, and they see the police respecting that, it sends a very powerful message, and that's helped a lot, I think.
What do you think, Michelle Lynn?
I think that, you know, everything he said is exactly right. By having officers in the community, interacting with community members, going to tenant association meetings, going to events in the community, really bonding with them, you know, that establishes a whole different dynamic with the community and helps the community feel a certain loyalty to the officers. And we encourage them to go to church services, to participate as much as possible in whatever is happening in the community, so that it's not us versus them.
I've heard y'all mention the us versus them concept. A lot of times the them includes the politician. So is it possible to be objective when you're a politician and it's an issue between police and citizens? Because the police you got to kind of side with the police because that's your people, right?
Or do you? It's a great question. Actually, you're the first person to ever said it like that. And I think it's an essential question.
If you think of a politician as a public servant, then that kind of changes that dynamic.
I agree. I think you're exactly right. That's the way the world has set up for so long. And what's the breakthrough we're trying to achieve here is, first of all, of course, we serve the people. And if people are hurting, something's wrong. If people feel disconnected from the police, something's wrong. That disconnect, that fear is not serving anyone. So when you say, I think your question hits home, God forbid there was a tragedy. Oh, you know, the thing that was said in the past is, close ranks. Well, most important is to not lose the faith of the people, because if the people believe they're being ignored, then there's no way to solve the problem. We've had some tragedies here. We've tried to deal with them in a more forthright manner. Put out the video, we have the video. Give some initial take on what happened in a little more straightforward way. Of course, some people are not going to like that. But, what we're trying to get across here is that we can really have tremendous sense of solidarity and appreciation for all our police do, but also understand what is bluntly centuries of pain.
Punishment.
And one other thing I'll tell you is, when one of the most striking moments that I saw when Bill Bratton was police commissioner, there was a Black History Month event, and he said, let's face it, Black history is police and soldiers enforcing an unacceptable status quo on black people. Mm-hmm. And he said just out like that, probably the greatest police leader in recent time, he said that clearly. I think we have to be honest about that and say, okay, if someone feels affronted, we can't ignore that because it's not a path to healing. We got to be blunt about it. So I mean, we've had some situations here. We said what happened wasn't right. That's part of the healing.
All right. Well, he has to go down.
Oh, I got to ask this question for you, because this was in the post. Harinder Singh, he's saying that he bribed you with campaign contributions in exchange for favors. Got to give you a chance to.
Can I say bullshit on radio? Can I say
there you
that?
go.
I mean, it's just bullshit. Guy is a criminal. I don't understand why the media gives him any legitimacy. Nothing like that happened. Nothing like that ever would happen in my life.
Didn't they have him recorded saying that he was going to make something up?
Yes, that came out recently, and I feel like after weeks and weeks and weeks of them trying to give this guy all this play, suddenly they have a recording of him saying, well, I guess I better make something up so it'll sound good. And it's just absolute bullshit.
So when things like that happen and you know it's bullshit, do you want to release a statement, or you wait for somebody to ask you, or you just...
We constantly say it didn't happen, and a whole lot of people don't listen because they want to get their headlines, which is a sad state of affairs. But, you know, this too shall pass.
There's a lot more we could get to, though. I mean, New York's crime rate has dropped very low. I think I read something for the first time. London has the higher crime rate than New York.
Yes.
I don't want to say that's a good thing for London, but it's a good thing for New York.
This is my favorite one. Last time we had so few murders in New York City, the Dodgers were playing at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? And by the way, this place used to be hell. I mean, if you remember back, we had over 2,000 murders a year in the early 90s. Relationship between police and community was really torn. To see it, the biggest city in the country, make this kind of turnaround, and now that it's intensifying, it's not like we've found there's like some end to it. It actually keeps deepening. It keeps getting better. I hope this is going to be a really good model for our nation. Our nation needs a lot of healing. A lot of healing between police and community. Well, here's a place that used to be the roughest, toughest, most screwed up of all, and we've proven you can change things.
But Deborah Dana got killed, and the sergeant did get acquitted. He's still suspended with pay.
He did. Look, I'm not
you said
saying
it was wrong.
I did say it was wrong. It shouldn't have happened, and we did everything that we could do within, again, due process. I'm not saying it's nirvana by any stretch. I want to believe the more people are trained, the more we show what policing should look like and what it shouldn't look like. The more, by the way, the more our officers look like New York City and are from New York City. Now, a majority of our officers are from New York City. Live in New York City. More and more officers of color, over 20% women officers now. These things are helping.
That's history.
I'm never going to say there won't be some things that are painful to all of us, but I can see things changing.
Do you think this is my last question, I promise. Do you think holding police responsible, like if they was actually, instead of getting acquitted, they were getting charged and they were losing their jobs and actually facing real criminal penalties, do you think that would slow them down? That would make them think twice?
It does slow them down, and it does make a difference. Remember, I mean, these cases that were down, they loom large, right, in our city, and as they should, because they're so dramatic and so painful and tragic. But there are hundreds and hundreds of other people who, like, they were processed properly, right? I think you can't take it out of perspective. There's always going to be something, right? You're gonna find that dramatic case where things did not go right, it's a bad apple in the police force or whatever it is. But there are hundreds and thousands of cases that go very smoothly.
Look, I think that's really important to emphasize. I get why the tragedies are so painful.
They are.
And I get why people put them in a historical line and say, well, if this hasn't been resolved in a way we feel good about, then nothing's changed. I think Charlene's hitting the core of this. It's all the tragedies that aren't happening. It's all the times now that the gun is not being pulled out because we've taught de-escalation. It's all the times that something doesn't jump up because there's already a pre-existing relationship between that officer and the community members. You can see it in the numbers. Again, you're talking about the whole city. The police officers use their weapon less than 40 times in a whole year, all officers combined. That is profoundly important. That should be the story, because that's about all those lives that were saved all around. And obviously, with crime going down, that means everyday residents who didn't experience crime. That's where the real deep activity is here in this discussion. On each tragedy, our job is to try and learn from it, stop it from happening. And yes, there's going to be due process, and due process is not always satisfying. I mean, it's painful. My job, by the way, is to respect due process. I'm not going to comment on each outcome because I got to respect. We would all want it for ourselves, as I said. But in the end, I do believe a lot of people are feeling a difference in how they are policed. I think a lot of people felt over-policed before, and we're trying to change that. I think they felt more distance from police. We're trying to change that. it's not a perfect reality, but you can see change coming.
And we all have to be part of it. And every single one of us. I want to thank you all for doing this show today. I want to announce our Weekend of Faith, which is coming up May 18th to 20th. Everyone can be a part of it.
Say what it is,
affiliated with a house of worship. This is a time when houses of worship are going to be focusing on mental wellness and addiction and what they can do if they have loved ones or if they themselves are suffering. So you have a house of worship, please go to that house of worship, tell your clergy member that they can participate May 18th to 20th in our Weekend of Faith. All of our Sisters Thrive members are going to be out there participating, and we hope you put the word out as well.
Last year was 2,000 houses of worship of all different faiths.
And houses
talked
of
about
worship in
it.
40 other cities.
And they talked about it openly, that if you have a mental health challenge, it's okay, come forward, we want to help you, we want to connect you to what you need. When people hear about that from their clergy, that is so powerful.
For somebody they trust.
It's right up there with you, Charlamagne.
We appreciate you guys for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much, Charlene.
Oh my God.
What?
It's like Charlamagne.
Charlene.
Wait, Envy, you just redeemed yourself.
All right, there we go. And
redemption is in the room.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now let's get to these rumors. Let's find out what video has 5 billion views.
Well, in less than a year and a half, Louis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee have gotten 5 billion views on Despacito.
Wow.
That
On what?
video.
What site?
On YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, on YouTube. So no other video is even close to that. Interestingly, even though Justin Bieber got on the track as well, he's not in the video. So this is just the two of them. I guess fans are watching the song, the video over and over and over again. All right, so congratulations to them, 5 billion views. Now, DJ Khaled, remember Raffaello and Company, the jewelry company, was suing him because he, according to them, decided to keep 2 Rolex watches, a diamond chain, and a pair of diamond earrings, and a 4-carat diamond ring, all valued at more than $100,000. Well, Khaled has just filed documents in this ongoing lawsuit. Now, what he's saying is that Raffaello and Company used a company called the American Board of Certified Gemologists, who would appraise the jewelry at inflated prices. For instance, he says he paid $110,000 for a chain, and it had a bogus appraisal certificate for $240,000. So he was saying the two companies work together. They sell jewelry at a much higher price by giving them a fake appraisal. So misrepresenting the quality and the value. So,
I don't know nothing about this rich Negro talk. What's going on here?
I was confused. I'm confused. I know when the appraisals are usually higher than what you pay for, but what does that have to do with how much you?
He's saying that the appraisals were way higher than what the jewelry was even worth.
That's usually what it is, though.
Right, but so he was saying that it got appraised for $240,000, and he paid $110,000, but it's not really worth $240,000.
What's the sales at Target today? Talk to me about something I know, man. What's
So
popping
this
at
is
Target?
an ongoing lawsuit with DJ Khaled, and
I'm confused.
I guess he's not deciding to return this. You don't understand that? He's saying that the jewelry company works with the appraisal
I
company.
know, but what does that have to do with how much you paid for the jewelry? That has
He's
nothing
saying
to do
that
with that.
if somebody tells you this is worth $240,000 and it's not worth anywhere near that because they appraise it at way, way higher than what it should be because they're working in conjunction to raise the prices. So you think you're getting a great deal by paying $110,000? Maybe it's not even worth that.
I don't have nothing worth $240,000. My life insurance is only $200,000.
Appraisals are usually more than what you pay for the jewelry anyway when you buy jewelry or diamonds, though.
Well,
if you buy a Rolex
Why y'all
for
so rich?
$20,000,
What y'all talking about?
appraisal is usually $30,000. That's usually how it is. I'm confused.
DJ Khaled needs to eat a salad.
All right, anyway.
Khaled's saying the two of them work in conjunction with each other to make people pay way more than they should be paying for jewelry.
What this got to do with Weight Watchers, Khaled?
Now, Lala Anthony and Anthony Anderson are returning as hosts for VH1's Dear Mama, A Love Letter to Moms. That's going to air on VH1 on May 7th. This is the 3rd time that they are hosting that special together. In the past, we've seen Mary J. Blige, Ludacris, Alicia Keys, Halle Berry, Maxwell, all of them honor their mothers with musical tributes. And Will Smith and his children also honor Jada Pinkett Smith with a thoughtful video. So it should be a beautiful thing.
I'm dropping the clues bombs for La Leezy. La La.
All right, and Jay-Z, he's going to be, again, on David Letterman. They've been releasing these clips for My Next Guest Needs No Introduction. That is David Letterman's show. That is a Netflix interview show. It's going to be on tomorrow. And here's Jay-Z talking about Blue Ivy.
Me and my daughter talked, like, I told her to get in the car the other day because she was asking 1,000 questions and we had to leave for school. And I got in the car and then, like, I'm faced this way, painting a picture of how healthy my children are. So we drive it and then I just hear a little voice, Dad, I didn't like when you told me to get in the car the way you told me. It hurt. She's 6. It hurt my feelings. And I was like, that's the most beautiful thing you've ever said to me.
That's right, Blue. You keep that pressure on him. Drop on the cool bomb for Blue Ivy.
Keep your daddy in check, because my baby's got me in
on
check.
his neck, all right? All right, I got 2 little feet on my neck at the house. 2 daughters, all right? It is what it is.
So that would be 4 feet.
Huh? Well, no, not if it's just 1 foot apiece.
Okay, all right.
Okay? Gosh, and I'm the one with no college education now?
What you saying?
All right, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your rumor report.
Thank you, Yee.
John! Yes, sir.
What are you giving that dog to?
Listen, man, it's a young woman. Her name is Holly Morris, I believe it is. And yes, Holly Morris from Fox 5 DC. She needs to come to the front of the congregation. We would like to have a word with her because for some reason she has a problem with black excellence. Okay. All right? Maybe it's not black excellence. Let's just say excellence in general. This is just stupid. Okay? Let's talk about it.
Okay. All right, we'll do that when we come back. Keep it locked. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Donkey Day for Thursday, April 4th goes to Allison Seymour, Holly Morris, and Fox 5 DC as a staff, record label, news organization, and mother effing crew. Really, Holly Morris is getting most of this donkey. She is a news anchor on Fox 5 DC in Washington. Before we get into them, let me salute a young king by the name of Michael Brown. Now, Michael Brown is from Houston, I believe, and he applied to 20 different colleges and was accepted to absolutely all of them. Drop on the clue bombs for this young king. Okay? Yale, Princeton, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, the University of Texas at Austin and Georgetown, Stanford, just to name a few. Hampton. I don't know about that one now. This young black brother applied to 20 colleges and got into every single one of them. God bless that young brother. How can you not root for that? Okay,
It's amazing.
Matter of fact, we have audio of him being surrounded by friends and family and getting accepted to Stanford. Let's listen and hear what Black Boy Joy sounds like. I love it. Drop on the clue bombs for Michael Brown again. Okay. Those are amazing problems to have. Figuring out which college you want to go to. Well, in life, we don't all see things the same way. I have accepted that. It's something that I have always known, but certain things I just expect us to all be on the same page about. Okay, it's surprising that you would find anyone out there who would be upset at this. I saw the movie Idiocracy for the first time last night, starring Luke Wilson and Maya Rudolph. My partner Lil Duval told me to watch it, and damn if that's not the best documentary about the current state of America right now. Okay, I don't know anyone that's better. So after watching that movie, which is about the dumbing down of society and how in the year 2500 anti-intellectualism permeates the culture, I am ecstatic that this young brother, Michael Brown, got accepted to 20 of the top colleges in the country. Okay, in the words of the late, great Combat Jack, keep raising the ball, Michael Brown. Now, once again, I don't see how you can find the negative in any of this, but somehow, Holly Morris and Sarah Simmons found a way to do it. Now, I got this from one of the most prominent news sources in the black community today, the Shade Room. Well, actually, it's Holly Morris and Allison Seymour, okay? But this is from the Shade Room, and this is Allison Seymour, Holly Morris, and Sarah Simmons discussing Michael Brown being accepted to 20 different schools. Let's hear it.
Michael Brown is his name. You're talking Yale, Harvard, Princeton, literally all of them. And he got full rides to all of them. Full rides. So it has sparked a discussion, though, of how many schools you should apply to. And do you think it's a little ridiculous that this kid applied to 20, taking away a spot and basically waitlisting another kid? Yeah, well, probably most people won't agree with me, but I actually think it's ridiculous to apply to 20 schools. I do. I urging my children not to. Yeah. he could have applied to 5. He would have gotten in all 5. It would have been equally as impressive. 10 would have been impressive. And you can Google as many articles as you want. Admissions officers will say on average you should apply to 4 to 8 schools, right? So you think this is a little obnoxious? I think it's a little obnoxious because you can only go to one. Right. You can only take one full ride. And you are taking a spot from someone else who works really hard.
I'm not the highest grade of weed in the dispensary, but I don't get it. Holly Morris says Michael applying to 20 schools is obnoxious. Do you know what the definition of obnoxious is? Extremely unpleasant. Okay, annoying, irritating. What is extremely unpleasant or annoying about Michael Brown being accepted to all 20 colleges? Holly, your reasoning is because he can only get into one, but then you say he could have just applied to 5 or 10. Well, if he can only get into one, by your logic, why is 5 or 10 acceptable to apply to? What 20 isn't? Who cares? What's the difference between 10 and 20? 10 more? I don't give a damn what studies say, okay? Michael saw 20 schools he may have wanted to attend. He threw every single one of them against the wall to see what stuck, and they all sticked. What's the problem? And Allison, come on, sister. Why are you agreeing with this young lady, Holly, okay? You black. All right, you have to let Holly know that the way her privilege is set up and the way Michael's privilege is set up is totally different, okay? Holly talking about averages. She don't understand that those averages that apply to her don't apply to Michael, okay? Michael has to be above average to get the same average opportunities that mediocre people with no melanin like yourself get. All right, correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't go to college, but don't you got to pay for college applications?
Yes, you do. Unless you can prove you have some financial hardship and you can get the fees waived.
Okay, and also if you on a wait list, all right, once Michael says he's not going to the other 19 schools, don't people who got bumped off get put back on because he's not on the list no more?
Yeah, because as a matter of fact, a lot of people end up getting in off the wait list because people who apply to colleges end up going, everybody applies to more than one.
So I asked the question again, Holly, what's the problem?
There should be no problem.
And actually, probably the reason that he is so successful in life is because he is an overachiever the way that he is. So you can never take for granted the fact that you know you're going to get into the top school of your choice. You're better off applying to all the schools that you would actually feel like you might go to, just in case it doesn't work out the way that you intended.
Absolutely. Well, the reason you do it is you apply to all the schools because you never know who's going to give you how much money. Like one school might give you a full ride, one school might give you a half ride. I applied to 10. And some gave me a half
You got
ride.
a half of one.
No, I got in the half percent.
But you can't ever take for granted that you'll get into the top school of your choice. So you might as well apply. And then there's other factors that might weigh in, like you said, how much money you're getting. Maybe you haven't 100% made up your mind. Maybe Stanford was his number one choice. But if he didn't know where he might want to go. But it makes perfect sense to me for him to apply to as many schools as he wants. You can.
Well, look, Holly Morris, Allison Seymour, I see y'all on Twitter trying to defend what you said about Michael. A young lady named Lynette Chambers said to Allison Seymour, you should be ashamed of yourself to sit there and partake in the bashing of this young man for reaching for the stars. You out all three in this segment should know better. That's because you're black, Allison. She didn't say that, I said that. I really hope that you are not limiting your children to mediocrity just to appease folk. And when that put folk in parentheses, I agree. Now, I'm not going to sit here and continue to tell y'all what y'all problems are because I saw Holly say on Twitter, I have had much worse said about me and my family on blogs, radio, social media, many of which have more followers than we have viewers. But I don't let the opinions of those I don't know and who don't know me bother me. Well, let me speak in a language you understand. That segment sucked. All right, and if you want to hear how it should have been done, let's go to KHOU 11 for the report, please.
You know, this is the time of year when high school seniors start finding out which college applications have been accepted.
And one young man in the 3rd Ward sent out more than enough and was shocked when the responses started pouring in.
What a story. And this man's reaction to the very, very good news, absolutely priceless. His name is Michael Brown, and one thing we know for sure is next year he'll be enrolled in one of America's top universities. He just has to decide which one. He got into every school he applied to, including 4 Ivy Leagues. Michael has full rides to every single school. Wherever he goes, though, he wants to study political science and then go on to law school. Guys, do you have goosebumps?
That is a drop the mic story. I am telling you, Lauren. Wow.
Holly and Allison, that's how you report on a human being getting accepted to the top 20 countries in the world. Okay? Colleges. What did I say?
Countries.
I didn't go to college.
We could tell.
All right. Please give Allison Seymour and Holly Morris the biggest hee-haw, please. Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's ridiculous. But salute to KHOU 11 in Houston for letting me know I'm not crazy.
And congratulations to that young man.
Yes, Michael Brown.
All right. Now, up next, thank you for that donkey today. Up next is Ask Ye. 800-585-1051. If you got a question for Ye, relationship or any type of question, you can call her right now. 800-585-1051. Ask Ye is next. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. It's time for Ask Yee. Hello, who's this?
I want to keep it anonymous.
All right, Miss Anonymous. What's your question for Yeezy?
So I'm dating this guy that used to date my brother years ago.
Oh.
So I've kind of known her in and out of my life as I got older.
Wait, you're dating a guy that used to date your brother?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm dating a guy that has a kid with a woman that used to date my brother.
Oh, I was like, okay, there's a lot going on.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Okay, you're dating a guy who used to
Has
date
a kid.
Who has a
by
kid?
a woman that used to date my brother.
Okay.
So she's been in and out of my life, and I used to be able to call her a friend, but now we have no friendship, period. Is that weird?
Well, I mean, you guys were never like close like that, right? She used to date your brother.
We were kind of tight because I was a teenager, so we kind of grew up knowing her and being around her.
Okay. And did you know this guy through her?
Eventually, yeah, I met him through her, but we didn't. By the time she started dating him, or she started getting with him, we weren't talking.
Okay, you guys just weren't friends anymore.
No, but he hasn't been with her for like 5 years.
Now,
we just recently started talking.
Okay, did you at least give her a heads up, like, hey, just so you know, I started dating this person?
No, because her and I ended badly as far as our friendship.
It sounds like you guys aren't really friends anymore, anyway.
No, we don't talk. We happen to pass by in social circles and stuff, but that's all.
So what's the problem?
I just want to know if it's weird.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not
or is it like disrespectful in any way, or should I have warned her? Because now that she knows, she's really pissed off about it.
I think this. You guys weren't friends. Your friendship ended badly, right?
Mhm.
And it was 5 years ago she dated this other guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. Now, if you feel like you want to have a conversation with her now and just put everything on the table, so if she's still mad about it, that's on her. You can do that if you
She
so
doesn't
choose.
want to converse with me. She wants to like argue with me about it, like as if I owe her an apology or something.
Okay, I mean you definitely don't. Now, what about does she have a problem with you near her child at all?
No, that's not even an issue.
Well, that's good. I think that she's probably just mad right now. How long have you and your man been together?
We've been talking for 2 months now.
It's still pretty fresh and new to her, so whatever feelings that she has and whatever, it will probably dissipate over time just because it's still kind of new. So just give her space, but it's not like y'all cool like that anyway. But I will say that try to do the mature thing so that you're always in the right, and the mature thing is let her know, okay, look, I didn't do this on purpose. I wasn't trying to do this to hurt you, and we just happened to, meet each other again and like each other, and I don't want you to feel any way about it, but this has nothing to do with you. So if she has an issue with that and she can't handle that, that's really on her. Like, that's not somebody that you don't owe her anything, but I can understand feeling like I don't want to have these bad vibes around my relationship, but at the end of the day, that's not really on you.
Yeah, I don't have time for the drama. I have too much to lose for all that.
And don't feed into the drama either, because you don't want that to destroy your relationship.
I tell him the same thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, good luck with that, and just try to always be the bigger person. If it doesn't work out like that, you did your best.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
DJ Envy.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm bummed because the spot that you're coming to on Saturday, I'm the bouncer for there, but my boss isn't putting me there, and I was so excited to meet you.
Well, you're no longer anonymous.
Yeah, right, pretty much you're no longer anonymous.
Well, people still don't know me.
All right, well, come on out anyway.
Well, I'll be working at another spot, so maybe another time.
Oh, that sucks. All right, next time.
Have a good one.
All right, you too, mama. All right, yeah, I'll be in Connecticut this weekend. Ask Yee, 800-585-1051. If you got a question for Yee, call her now. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We're in the middle of Ask Yee. Hello, who's this?
Hi, good morning. This is Michelle.
Hey, Michelle. Good morning. What's your question for Yee?
Okay, you weren't here last time I called, Envy. You were in Africa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I called. No, it's okay. I called when you were in Africa, and I told Yee about my situation with my son's father. I have a 3-month-old baby with him, and we've been having pretty much a rough time.
I remember you said you didn't feel like he was helping out the way that he should be, and he thought it was funny.
Yeah, and he wasn't really like interested in showing me any affection or any time or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday I found out that he has been on dating websites and he's been cheating on me. And we actually called the girl on speaker. We spoke to her and she pretty much told me everything, and I didn't argue with her. It's not her fault, it's his. And then after we got off the phone and she told me everything that was going on, he then proceeded to deny it. Mind you, he was there. He didn't deny anything in front of her.
And then he waited till after.
Yeah, he waited till after and was like, oh no, she's lying. So we live together.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, would I be wrong for giving him a 30-day notice to get out of my house? I feel like if I do it in any other way, he's going to spaz out and try
I think you actually be really nice for that. Because I would be like, you got to get out immediately. But I understand you guys have a 3-month-old. And it's interesting because you said you didn't think he was cheating before.
Correct. I thought, he's always been a flirt. So I thought maybe, the most he would, flirt every now and then. But I never thought that he was actually hanging out with girls, going on like dating websites. Like actually, the girl told me that he told her that he was looking for a serious relationship. Like that's way past flirting. They hung out. He's taking my car to go give her a jump and to go visit her. And
Michelle, you are a very rational person, because I don't know if I can even think straight.
We've been in aggressive situations before. The last time I tried to kick him out, he broke my windshield. So this time I'm trying to do this in a nicer manner so that I don't end up being the one that's
I would recommend, if I were you, to first of all have somebody on hand by me that I feel comfortable will protect me just in case he goes a little crazy. Because he has to understand that he's clearly got some psychotic issues if he won't even admit that he's cheating. The fact that you could sit there, call the person right in front of him, and he could act like he has no idea afterward what she's talking about and deny it. He's got there's definitely something wrong with him, but I'm concerned about your safety now because you do want him to get out, and it seems like you're concerned that he might do something physical.
Correct.
So I am definitely, what I would say is, because you have these concerns, I would perhaps try to make sure I talk to somebody like in my family. Is there anybody that you can have come over, friends or something like that?
My dad come over.
I probably, to keep it real, would pack up his stuff.
It's difficult. I really don't want this to go all the way left. I know that if I go to start packing up his stuff the minute that he gets home, because I work during the day, he works at night, it's going to be like World War III.
Right.
Like, you touch my stuff, you started packing, like, and I don't want that. I want this to be as...
I mean, look, clearly he wants to date other people. So what you need to do is tell him, I can see that you don't want to be with me. And that's fine. I'm not trying to stay here with you in a relationship where I'm unhappy and you're unhappy. So let's just agree that for the sake of our child, we behave like mature adults. You get your stuff together, 30 days, and I'm gonna give you a time limit to get out, and that's it. And I'm just concerned because I feel like, has he put his hands on you before?
No. Not really.
Not really, or no?
Not really.
So he has.
We've got arguments and he's pushed me out of the way and stuff, but he's never hit me or anything like that. So.
Do you feel like he might put his hands on you?
If it ever got that far, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
And I try not to ever let it escalate, and that's why I don't want to do this in any manner that's going to end up making me the victim of something that I don't want to be the victim of. I want to take my power back in this situation. I don't want to continue to feel powerless to him.
Well, I would feel very comfortable if you spoke to somebody who's a professional, because I don't want to give you advice and then something terrible ends up happening to you, because I'm concerned about your well-being.
I understand.
Okay, so, I mean, does he have to leave or can you leave?
It's my apartment. I want him to leave. My father owns that unit.
Oh, okay. Well, there it is. You know what? Have you told your father what's going on?
He's been kind of aware, which is why I said, he's been aware that, that he's been a flirt before and I've been uncomfortable with it. But we were going to try to work on our relationship, and, he told me that everything was going to be good and nothing was going to happen anymore. So he doesn't know anything as a recent.
You need to give your dad a heads up.
Yeah.
You have to let your family know this isn't something you should be dealing with alone.
I agree. I think I just have a tendency to try to handle it all on my own.
You can't protect him. You can't handle it on your own. Don't be embarrassed, ashamed of anything that happened. It's not your fault that this is the person that he is. But I don't want you to handle this where nobody in your family knows what's going on and then something happens. They need to be aware.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree.
All right, Michelle, hold on. I'm going to get your information so we can stay in contact.
Okay.
All right, Michelle, thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
ASCII 800-585-1051. We got rumors on the way?
Yes, there was a rumor that Kanye and Travis Scott were being managed by Kris Jenner. Well, here's what Kylie Jenner has to say about that.
All right, we'll get into all that when we come back. Keep it locked. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Everybody, it's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club.
Verizon got nerve sending me emails talking about my payment date is approaching. You just cut me off last week.
They want to make sure.
I don't like that, man.
They just cut you off last week and you already?
Yes.
Well,
they got nerve, man.
Pay your bill.
I better pay mine too. All right, let's get to the rumors. Let's talk Cardi B.
The 7th.
Well, Cardi B's new album comes out tomorrow, Invasion of Privacy, her debut album.
Drop one of Clues Bombs for Cardi B. Body, damn it.
Midnight tonight.
She did release the track listing for Invasion of Privacy, and she has 2 guest appearances that we can see on here. We know both of them, Bartier Cardi featuring 21 Savage and Drip featuring Amigos. But she said she does have some surprises. She said, I know you have some questions, don't ask me, and just find out on Friday. Thank you.
Body is 25, right? So you know Body since she been 19, 20. Yep.
Now, Power 105, locally in New York, we are doing the Feature 5 with Cardi B. So
Let's talk about that payroll we on. Let's talk about it.
Cardi B is going to play 5 of her favorite tracks from her new album exclusively. It's going to start tonight at midnight, and then we're going to be doing that on the Breakfast Club also, and then at 12 noon, 5 p.m., and 7 p.m. as well. So in addition to that, we'll be playing your new Cardi tracks at the top of every hour. So it's all about Cardi in New York City on Friday because she's from New York.
So basically, we playing all Cardi tomorrow.
Yeah.
All Cardi. Drop one of Clues Bombs for Cardi B. We've been riding with Cardi since she been 19, 20 years old before she was rapping. We played Cheap Ass Weave on the radio. I don't even remember Cheap Ass Weave.
Cheap Ass Weave.
All right, so congratulations to Cardi B. I know it's going to be a big deal. All right, Travis Scott and Kanye West. There were rumors, according to Complex, that Kris Jenner was taking over their management. Well, Kylie Jenner posted, "This isn't true," and she put the annoyed emoji where she has your hand over her head. So I guess that's not happening, and they're saying it's not going down. So for everybody that was saying that yesterday, no. Travis Scott and Kanye West are not getting career guidance from Kris Jenner.
Thank God.
All right, Vivica A. Fox. We told you before about 50 Cent being in her new book. She said he was the one that got away for sure. She said, I have moved on and I am happy. Last year we had a feud and there were some things that weren't clear about our relationships. And now when you read the book, there's complete clarity about our relationship. I have tons of respect for him. I'm at peace with it and I think he's at peace with it too. Now she also talks about Prince. I didn't know this. But did you know that she stayed at Prince's house for a year rent-free?
No. Really?
Yeah, so I guess that's going to be in her book also.
First of all, why would Prince be charging somebody rent? As rich as Prince was? You know my rule. If I'm with somebody that got more money than me, I'm not paying for nothing. Rent
For a whole year. That's amazing. Now,
Wow.
her book is called Every Day I'm Hustling, and she's telling all this to Page 6. She said, I was really blessed. Talk about guardian angels in life. I was living in Hell's Kitchen. I just moved here from Huntington Beach, California. My friend came by to visit me one day, and she walked in and was like, what are you doing here? She said, my friend was dating Prince at the time, but he was never there, so I could stay at his place. That time was a golden era. I have been so blessed to have such amazing friends that have looked out for me, and that is what's in the book, My Voice, My Journey.
So Prince didn't know.
He probably did know, but he wasn't there, so her friend probably was like, just stay at Prince's house.
Vivica Fox didn't come up here to promote her book. She was like, nope.
Y'all got her in trouble last time.
Y'all had up last time.
Last time I came up here, I had to apologize to the LGBT community.
We love you, Vivica.
Well, ain't nobody tell her to come up here and say what she said. They ain't got nothing to do with us. Okay? What did she say anyway?
I
She said
read
she didn't
something
want.
about her show that she had.
No, I asked her about, remember the show, I said, you know, I think I said...
about gay men.
I said,
Yeah,
I said,
I'm reading it now. It's an old article from the Daily News. The homophobic accusations came after Fox and some of her dancers were asked if gay guys go to shows during an appearance on The Breakfast Club.
There you go.
Yes, and I guess she said she didn't want the
Y'all set her up, man.
I don't know what she said.
All right, now The Rock is having secret political meetings. He's taking measures in case he does decide to run someday. He's not going to do it now, but he's been taking under the radar meetings with political experts after announcing last year he was considering a presidential bid.
No, I just saw Idiocracy last night. All right, Terry Crews' character on Idiocracy is a lot like The Rock's character in real life. Rock's a little bit more sophisticated, but we don't need any more celebrity in chiefs, bro. Not The Rock, not Oprah.
What about if he's talking slow?
We don't want Trump. No, man.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah. If you know what, I don't have any problem with that. If you actually go through the process and like you start somewhere else, yeah, fine. But no, not.
Now, The Rock admitted he didn't vote in the 2016 presidential election, but he did vote for Obama in 2008 and 2012.
Nope.
All right, well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your Rumor Report.
All right, shout out to Revolt. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Everybody else, the People's Choice Mix is up next. Let me know what you want to hear. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.